Jadi isu bersurat pada hari itu ialah nak charge berapa, nak kenakan charge. Masuk taman permainan ini macam theme park lah. Nah, masuk taman permainan ini how much perlu dibayar. Dia panggil semua NGO, Resident Association, duduk bincang. Kenapa dia nak charge 5 pound? Dia decided to charge 5 pound untuk masuk taman. Jadi dia kena explain dekat NGO bagaimana harga yang dia kena harga membuat taman itu, maintain taman itu, dan inilah tiket harga dia 5 pound. So NGO ada bangkang, why? Ini semua tu. So dia tengok pendapat-pendapat NGO. Kemudian dia baru buat keputusan. That is what we are doing now in the government. Ya, okay. So itulah NGO penting. Ya, peranan NGO sebab NGO ni mewakili orang ramai. So your life will be affected by decision of the government. Jadi sebab itulah the public are also involved in the decision making process. Ya, okay, next. Saya nak benchmark sikit bagaimana peranan satu NGO antarabangsa yang kita ada cawangan di Malaysia, iaitu Transparency International. How can you play your effective role supaya you nak gerakkan gelombang? So gerakkan gelombang maknanya you get everybody involved in the fight against corruption. So bila semua terlibat, jadi the force jadi kuat. Dalam government sector kita ada. We have a mechanism in the government sector which we call Public Governance Integrity Committee. In all government agencies, right, from kementerian until district level in the state. All these government agencies, they have to set up Public Governance Integrity Committee in their agency. Jadi dia bergerak dah ada, dia semua dah ada. Jadi NGO je kita belum kumpulkan lagi. So this is the time, yeah, that you need together with SPRM. Now kita tengok contoh anak, just contoh macam mana TI become household name now, yeah, or people very independent, people talk about initiative by Transparency International atau TI. Dia started with project dia Corruption Perception Index. So all the country dah suddenly ada awareness how bad corruption in that country. Dah ada awareness. Begitu popular je. And then dia ada macam pertandingan pula. Kalau ada 100 lebih negara di dunia, negara mana yang corruption teruk, negara mana yang corruption dia medium, negara mana yang corruption level dia very minimum. Dia macam ada Denmark pernah dapat markah 10 top 10 full mark. Maknanya dia punya corruption level tu terlalu rendah. You know why? Bukan kerana tak ada bribery. It's not because there is no bribery in Denmark. There is bribery in Denmark. Tetapi they are very, very transparent. Very transparent. So there is nothing to hide. Yeah? Macam gaji saya, anda tahu, dan gaji anda saya tahu. Jadi kalau gaji anda RM1,000, anda ada Mercedes, macam mana gaji RM1,000 ada Mercedes? Saya beli di bawah. Very transparent, ya ini. These are the initiative by TI yang menyebabkan mereka begitu aktif dan they create change in the society. Itu yang kita nak di kalangan NGO. Sebab itulah saya benchmark dengan TI. TI buat anti-corruption toolkits. Dia buat banyak kaedah. How to fight corruption in the construction sector. Dia ada buku dia. How to fight corruption in the health sector. How to fight corruption in the education sector. Semua dia ada. So people jadikan TI itu sebagai resource center. How effective and how helpful this TI. Kita ada macam the current initiative by our Malaysian TI. Dia buat on forest governance. Dia panggil forest governance. Tak boleh urus hutan. Orang tak buat, dia buat. You know why? Sebab di Malaysia ni antara negara di dunia yang banyak berlaku illegal logging illegal land clearing. Jadi isu ini was picked up by TI Malaysia dan dia dapatkan budget from Denmark government, dan dia, sebab saya tahu saya terlibat. I like the forest, jadi saya volunteer terlibat ya. So dia buat cadangan kepada kerajaan, ya. Dan juga macam political donation. TI Malaysia, dia temukan 22 cadangan kepada kerajaan Malaysia bagaimana nak reduce corruption and ensuring transparency in the political donation. Hence, we can reduce money politics. Dia bagi 22 recommendation. This is yang saya katakan positive contribution by NGO. Okay? Sebab kerajaan sekarang very open. We also very open. Kita nakkan idea from the public. So kalau hentam macam bersih, what do you get? Bukan saya, I don't want to be a politic lah, but just to set an example. Yeah? At the end of the day, the businessman tak boleh buat kedai and then lose business. Kereta terbalik lah macam kata tadi. Nak padam api, dia terbalikkan kita bomba kan. Macam in this case, orang yang menjaga keamanan, dia terbalikkan orang yang menjaga keamanan. Dia cederakan. Nanti you get nanti. Dia tak ada. So, we expect positive contribution macam yang TI buat. Yeah? Dia buat kajian, okay. Then dia improve dasar strategi negara. Then dia wujudkan Island of Integrity. Maknanya kan, dia buat focus group. Dia tumpu pada orang muda. Orang muda ni di-develop untuk orang yang integrity. Dipanggil Project Island Integrity. Kemudian orang-orang group ni, bila dia balik dekat dia punya agency atau organisation, dia will spread the integrity elements in their organisation. Like leader, tahu tak leader? Leader kan orang Melayu. Kalau dia basuh kain putih, dia nak bagi putih lagi. Dia taruh leader. So when you dip, ni kan orang putih saya tahu lah benda kan. When you dip that needle in the water, then the colour spray blue. Macam tu konsep Island of Integrity. So dia sama dengan stakeholder. So dia engage semua. The public, the private, the government, semua dia tu untuk dia bekerjasama. This is what TI is doing. And of course we work very closely with TI. Sebab kita nampak dia punya positive contribution. Menerbitkan bahan-bahan bacaan dan kempen pendidikan. That is what TI is doing. Ya, itulah yang kita harapkan peranan lain-lain NGO di Malaysia. So if you give positive contribution, the public, the government will definitely appreciate your initiative. Okay, next. Okay, kita lihat dia punya CPI. Okay, next. Bagi orang Islam, dalam Quran dah ada. Ya, kita tolong menolong untuk buat baik. Bukan tolong menolong buat jahat. Maksud saya tolong menolong buat jahat ni, dalam pengalaman kami menyasatlah. Orang berpakat, ada kumpulan orang, bukan semua ya, ada kumpulan orang yang pakat, jangan report kat sekarang. Nanti you kena. Jangan jadi saksi, nanti you kena. Dia cucuk orang pula supaya tak bekerja sama. Ya, which is wrong. Ya. So, tolong buat baik. Jangan tolong menolong buat jahat. Okay, next. This is just sebagai information that under our law, it becomes a legal obligation not only for public officer but also individuals to report corrupt act to SPRM. This section applies to public officer. Kalau ada, it is a legal obligation for public officer to report corruption to the authority if they are offered a bribe. Okay, pekerjaan kalau ada orang nak bagi rasuah, dia kena report. Okay, next. This is for the public, for you all. If a private sector officer or a government sector officer demand you a bribe, you ought to report also to SPRM. Kalau tak report, salah. negara kita, not many countries have this provision. You baru nak minta salah, you tak report pun salah. See, yeah, very strict the law. Okay, next. Sedikit last kali ya. Last kali saya nak sentuh tentang protection to whistleblower and protection to witnesses. So we have this law to protect the whistleblower as well, or the complainant, as well as the saksi, the witnesses. We have the law, so don't worry to report. Yeah? Okay, next. Ni nak report kepada orang yang report rasuah. Orang yang report rasuah, identiti, kandungan report dia akan dilindungi sehinggalah kes itu dibawa ke mahkamah. Ya, semasa siasatan, semasa dia report, kita protect dia punya identiti. Right? So bila sampai ke mahkamah, tak ada lagi protection lah, sebab dah sampai ke mahkamah, dah ada open trial. Ya? Okay, next. Ni kepada informer. Kalau tuan-tuan nak jadi informer SPRM, don't worry, kita ada protection. Yeah? Your identity, the information that you give to SPRM will be kept as secret. Kalau ada pegawai SPRM yang dedahkan, you can sue him or her. Yeah, that is protection guaranteed for you. Okay, next. Terima kasih.